Let's delay the wedding again, she said, eyes avoiding mine. That made it 4 times. Take all the time you need, I replied, already halfway packed. Now I sip coffee in Florence. We met 7 years ago, and yeah, it was the kind of story you'd roll your eyes at if you weren't living it. Met at a bookstore. She dropped a copy of Wuthering Heights. I made some dumb joke about her being into emotionally unavailable men. She laughed, told me she was actually more of a Jane Eyre girl. Stronger female lead. I asked her out that night. We had Indian food and walked through the city until 2 a.m. I kissed her in front of her building while some drunk guy sang Sinatra on the street corner. For the first 3 years, we were that nauseating couple everyone either secretly envied or loudly mocked. Matching Halloween costumes, inside jokes, Spotify playlist we curated like it was a second job. I thought she was my person. And maybe for a while she was. But something shifted around year 4. It was subtle at first. Fewer spontaneous kisses, shorter goodnight texts. She started pulling away, not physically so much as emotionally, like she had some secret she couldn't trust me with. I asked her once, straight up, "Is there someone else?" She looked me in the eye and said, "God, no." Don't do that. Don't ruin us with that kind of suspicion. I believed her. I wanted to believe her. Then came the wedding delays. First, her mom got sick. Totally understandable. I even suggested the delay myself. Then she wanted to finish graduate school without distractions. Okay, fine. Then it was work, promotion on the line, big clients, all that. The third time, I started to get this pit in my stomach I couldn't ignore. The fourth time, last month, she sat across from me on our couch, the ring still on her finger, but her hands curled in her lap, like they were ashamed of touching me. Let's delay the wedding again, she said, voice barely above a whisper. I didn't ask why. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stood up, walked into the bedroom, and started folding clothes into my old duffel bag. Take all the time you need, I said over my shoulder. She didn't stop me, not even when I closed the door behind me. Now I'm in Florence. Yeah, Italy. I figured if I was going to fall apart, might as well do it somewhere beautiful. It sounds romantic, but trust me, heartbreak still tastes the same, whether it's in a suburban kitchen or at a cafe near the Arno River. This morning I was halfway through my espresso when I got a text from her. First one since I left. Can we talk? I stared at it for a long time. She didn't say she missed me. Didn't say sorry. Didn't ask how I was. Just, can we talk? I didn't answer. Instead, I did what no rational man nursing a shattered heart should do. I opened her Instagram. She hadn't posted anything about the delay, or me, or anything sad at all. Instead, there she was, smiling at some rooftop bar with a guy I didn't recognize. His hand was on her back. Way too familiar. Maybe it was just a friend, or maybe it was someone who made her smile the way I hadn't been able to for a long time. That night, I called my brother Eric. He's always been the one I vent to when I don't trust my own brain. She's been checked out for months, man, he said. You knew this was coming. You just didn't want to admit it. Then why didn't she just end it? I asked. Why drag it out like this? There was a pause. Then, because sometimes people don't know if they want to let go. Until they already have. I hung up and didn't sleep. And then I made the stupidest decision yet. I flew back. Not because I wanted to fix things, not really, but because I needed answers. I needed to see if there was still something worth salvaging or if I was just another idiot trying to resurrect a ghost. And that's when I found the letter, hidden in the drawer of our shared nightstand, not addressed to me, to someone named Caleb. I stared at the envelope like it was ticking. It wasn't even hidden that well, just folded neatly beneath some old receipts and a pair of earrings she hadn't worn in forever. My hand hovered over it like maybe touching it would somehow make it real. I knew I shouldn't read it. I also knew there was no version of this where I didn't. So I opened it. It wasn't long, maybe half a page. Her handwriting, soft, loopy, like she was trying to sound calm even on paper, was unmistakable. Caleb, I know I said I'd never write, but I need to say this somewhere, even if you never read it. You were never a mistake. What happened wasn't something I planned or even fully understood at the time. But it mattered. You mattered. Some nights I still think about what we said under that tree by your car, about the what ifs. I'm not trying to undo my life, but I can't pretend yours didn't shape it. I hope you're okay. I hope you found someone who didn't keep you a secret. E. I sat on the edge of the bed, hands shaking, letter open like a wound. Under that tree by your car. That wasn't just a throwaway line. I remember her coming home late one night last year saying she'd run into an old friend from college. We just talked, nothing big, she'd said, brushing it off like dust on her coat. I didn't even question it. I was too busy planning our honeymoon. I shouldn't have come back. But now I had to know. I needed to know who the hell Caleb was and why Emma was writing love letters she never sent. So I did what any guy whose life is spiraling does. I played detective. Her old journals were in a box in the closet. I hadn't looked at them in years. I knew I shouldn't. But again, that ship had long sailed. I flipped through pages filled with poetry, dreams about starting a nonprofit, therapy notes. Then I saw his name. Caleb. August 2019. Ran into him again. It was weird. My chest hurt. He asked if I was happy. I lied. I told him I was getting married soon. He smiled like that didn't surprise him at all. He said, "You always were good at choosing what felt safe over what felt right." It made me want to scream, but I didn't. I just nodded, and then I sat in my car for an hour and didn't go home right away. Safe over right. That's how she saw me? I closed the journal, heart pounding so loud I thought the neighbors could hear it. I didn't even know what emotion I was feeling. Rage, sadness, grief, some poisonous cocktail of all three? I left the apartment that night and checked into a cheap hotel on the other side of town. It smelled like old carpet and disappointment, but at least I could breathe. The next morning, I texted her. Me. We need to talk. In person. No more games. Emma. Okay, tonight? 7 p.m.? Our place? Me. Fine. And bring everything. No more secrets. I didn't tell her I already knew about Caleb. I wanted her to tell me. I wanted to see if she'd choose the truth or keep burying it beneath wedding dresses and venue deposits we never used. I got there early. She was late. Of course. When she finally walked through the door, she looked like she hadn't slept either. Dark circles, hair tied back, no makeup, no pretense. She sat down on the couch across from me. No hug, no smile. Okay, she said. What do you want to know? I didn't waste time. Who the hell is Caleb? Her face froze. I found the letter, I said. And your journal. The one from 2019. The tree by his car. The night you came home late. She looked down, then back up. Her voice cracked before the words even came out. He was everything before you. We were together for 2 years. We were toxic. Beautiful, but brutal. The kind of love that makes you feel like the sky's falling even when everything's fine. I didn't say anything. I just listened. My fists were clenched, but I didn't interrupt. I left him because I knew it wouldn't last. We fought constantly. We were on and off more than a light switch. And then I met you, and you were good. You were kind. You made life feel safe. She used that word again. Safe. Like I was a seatbelt. Like I was her escape from something more exciting. But last year I ran into him, she continued. And it all came back. The way he looked at me. The way I felt. It was like I'd been underwater for years and suddenly I could breathe again. My throat burned. Did you sleep with him? She didn't hesitate. Number. But I wanted to. God, I wanted to. Silence. I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at a skyline I used to imagine growing old with her in. And that's why you kept delaying the wedding, I said. Because you didn't know if you wanted me anymore. I didn't want to hurt you, she whispered. Then why didn't you just let me go? She didn't answer, because there wasn't an answer that wouldn't break me. I don't know how long we sat in that silence. It wasn't peaceful. It was the kind that hums in your ears, makes your skin itch. I could hear the hum of the fridge, a car horn from the street, the sound of her breathing, like she was bracing for impact. Finally, I turned to her. Tell me everything. She flinched like I'd slapped her. You sure? I nodded. I came back for answers, not half-truths. If we're ending this, at least let me bury it knowing the whole story. She swallowed. Hard. Her hands trembled in her lap as she started. We met in college. Caleb and I, sophomore year. He was in my poetry class. You ever meet someone and they just crack you open without even trying? I said nothing. My stomach turned. He was smart. Broken, but brilliant. Grew up rough. Always had something to prove. But with me, he was soft. Until he wasn't. She looked up, eyes glossing over. It wasn't abusive. Not in the way people usually mean. But it was volatile. Passion and panic lived in the same room. We'd scream at each other one night and lie in bed tangled up the next morning like nothing happened. He cheated a few times. I'd leave. He'd beg. I'd go back. I was stupid. But I loved him, or I thought I did. Then he left, out of nowhere. Packed up and moved to Seattle, said he needed space. I didn't hear from him for 4 years. Until last year, he was in town. He texted me. My heart thudded in my chest. You gave him your number? She nodded, almost ashamed. Years ago, we were friendly for a while after the breakup, until I blocked him. But apparently he still had my number written down somewhere. So you met him? She hesitated. Twice. The first time I thought it'd bring closure. It didn't. The second time, I don't even know why I went. Curiosity? Nostalgia? Stupidity. She paused. He kissed me. I let him, just once. I pulled away, but I let it happen. There it was. A bullet in slow motion. I felt it before it hit me. I never told you because I thought it didn't mean anything, she said quickly. It was a moment. It passed. I didn't want to blow up everything we had over a stupid mistake. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was absurd. You think this is still intact? After 4 postponed weddings? After a secret kiss? After love letters to your toxic ex in the nightstand drawer? She started to cry then. Real tears. The kind I'd once rushed to wipe away. This time, I just watched. And then she said something that knocked the air out of my lungs. There's more. I leaned against the wall, dreading what would come next. A few weeks ago, Caleb showed up at my office. What? I don't know how he found me. Maybe he Googled. Maybe he remembered the field I was in, but he was waiting outside. Said he was in town for good, wanted to talk, said he had news. I clenched my jaw. And you went out with him again? She nodded. What news? She closed her eyes like she couldn't stand to look at me when she said it. He has a daughter. I blinked. Okay, and? She's 4. The math hit me like a freight train. My blood turned to ice. You think she's yours? Emma's voice dropped to a whisper. I don't know. He said it might be mine. Said he didn't want to drop a bomb on me, but he didn't want to lie either. My knees buckled. I sat down, heart racing like I'd just sprinted. You told me we were each other's first real family, I said, voice hoarse. You said we were building something no one else had given us. I meant it, she cried. Number. You meant it when it was easy, when no one from your past came crawling back in with babies and poetic declarations under trees. She was shaking, so was I. I got a paternity test, she said quickly. He agreed. I'll know in a week. I stared at her, unable to even process that sentence. You didn't even tell me. You might have a child and you just carried that around like a purse secret? I was going to tell you. I just couldn't find the moment. You had 4 wedding delays worth of moments, Emma. We sat in silence again. I loved you, I said quietly. God, I still do, in some warped, damaged way, but I can't compete with a ghost. I can't marry someone who's got one foot in the past and a maybe baby hanging over our future. She sobbed, hand over her mouth. Do you still love him? I asked. I don't know, she choked. I love who we were, what we could have been, but I love you too. I swear I do. I stood up. That's not enough anymore. She followed me to the door. Please don't go like this. I stayed for years, I said. I packed for a week, waited for a future, and now I'm unpacking lies I didn't ask for. You want me to stay again? She didn't answer. So I walked out. Again. And this time, I didn't look back. Look. 3 days passed. 3 long, slow-burning days where every minute felt like I was orbiting the edge of a cliff, just waiting for the ground to finally give out. I stayed in the same hotel, room 217, with a busted lamp and a fan that rattled like bones in a closet. I didn't leave much. Just coffee runs and walks at night when I couldn't sit still. I didn't block Emma, but I didn't reach out either. Then, on the 4th morning, I woke up to a message. Emma. Got the results. It's his, not mine. I thought you'd want to know. I'm so sorry. I stared at it for a while. No joy, no relief. Just this aching kind of numbness that's somehow worse than pain. The kind of feeling that says you lost something, and even though it wasn't yours, it still hurts to let it go. And I should have felt closure. I should have been able to draw a line under everything, file it away under painful life lessons and try to move forward. But something about it kept gnawing at me. It wasn't just the child, it was Caleb. Because after everything, the kiss, the surprise appearance at her office, the child she didn't even know about, one thing didn't sit right. The letter, the tone of it, the careful phrasing, the timing, it felt old. Like it wasn't written recently, like maybe it wasn't written after the visit to her office at all, so I did what I probably shouldn't have done. I called him. Yeah, I had to go digging. Took an hour of social media sleuthing and one awkward call to an old college friend of Emma's who still followed him. But eventually I got a number, and then I dialed it. He answered on the 3rd ring. Hello? Is this Caleb? I asked. Yeah, who's this? This was Emma's fiancé. We need to talk. There was a long pause. Then, surprisingly, a soft laugh. Wow, okay. Wasn't expecting this today. Did you send Emma that letter? What letter? The one that starts, "You were never a mistake." Found it in our apartment. His voice changed instantly. I didn't write that. You're saying you've never sent her any kind of letter? Not even back when you left town? No, man. When I left, I cut contact. I ghosted her. I was kind of a coward, not gonna lie. Now I was pacing. So you didn't write to her recently either? After the paternity test or showing up at her work? He scoffed. I didn't go to her work. I haven't seen her in person since last year, and she sure as hell didn't tell me about a kid. I stopped cold. You didn't tell her? What kid, dude? I don't have a daughter. My blood went cold. Emma said you told her you had a 4-year-old, that you were getting a paternity test. Now he sounded pissed. I don't know what she told you, but no, I'm single. No kids. What the hell is going on? I didn't answer. I hung up. Then I sat down on the floor, heart pounding in my ears like a war drum. The letter wasn't from Caleb. The paternity test was a lie. The whole story was fake. And suddenly, all the pieces clicked into place. The delays, the emotional distance, the journaling, the way she wanted me to believe she was torn between 2 loves. It wasn't about him. It never was. She made Caleb the villain so she could distract me from someone else. I called Eric, my brother, immediately. Hey, I said. Quick question. You remember Emma's friend Lily? Yeah, the redhead. Met her at your engagement party. She ever seem close to you? Like, Weirdly close? There was a pause. What do you mean? Just answer. He sighed. We hooked up once. Right before you and Emma got engaged. I didn't know she was her best friend until after. That nauseous twist in my gut turned violent. Emma had told me she and Lily had a falling out last year. Said Lily wasn't supportive of our relationship anymore. I never pushed. Never thought to question it, until now. I hung up and pulled up Emma's laptop. She never changed the password. It didn't take long. Emails between her and Lily. Dozens. Then abruptly, none. Until one sent 5 months ago, marked as unread. From Lily Jameson. To Emma R. Subject, you win. I hope he never finds out. You can pretend Caleb was the problem. You're good at rewriting things to suit your story. I'm done being your cover. I kept the secret because I thought you were scared, but now I see you're just selfish. Don't write to me again. The timestamp? Exactly 2 days before the third wedding postponement. I felt like I was watching my own life disintegrate under a microscope. Emma hadn't been torn between me and Caleb. She'd been having an affair, and she used him as a smokescreen. A believable, dramatic distraction. A tragic figure to hide behind while she kept another secret locked away behind a fabricated paternity test and a fake heartbreak. She lied to both of us, for years. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the hotel floor staring at the email from Lily over and over again, like it might suddenly rewrite itself into something easier to accept. But it didn't. Each word screamed louder the longer I stared. You can pretend Caleb was the problem. You're good at rewriting things to suit your story. And just like that, all of it. The 4 postponed weddings, the emotional distance, the crying fits she couldn't explain, the letter that sounded more like a goodbye to herself than to Caleb. It all made sense. She'd been hiding, not grieving. I didn't need to guess anymore, so I went back, not to fix anything. I just needed to look her in the eye and let her see what she'd done. Let her feel it, because silence would have been easier for her. And I wasn't giving her easy anymore. She opened the door wearing one of my old sweatshirts. I guess she hadn't expected me. You lied, I said. No hello, no warmth. Just the words I'd been burning to say. Her face twisted. What are you talking about? I stepped inside holding my phone up with the email open. Lily, she told me everything. She froze. She didn't betray you, I added. You used her, lied to her. Just like you lied to me. She looked like a person unraveling in real time. Her hands shook, her mouth opened. Closed, opened again. I didn't mean for it to happen. Don't, I cut her off. Don't start with, I didn't mean. You knew exactly what you were doing. That letter, the one you wrote to Caleb, you were writing it to yourself. A performance. Something for me to find. To feel bad for you. To keep me distracted while you played victim in your own lie. I was scared, she whispered. Number you were calculating. She sat on the edge of the couch like her legs couldn't hold her anymore. It wasn't Caleb, she finally admitted. It was someone else. Someone I knew I could never admit to. Who? Silence, and then Eric. My chest caved in. I stumbled back, almost laughing. Eric? My brother? She nodded, face pale, tears starting to form. It was one time. It was right after we got engaged. I was panicking. I felt trapped. Not because of you, because of me. Because I didn't know how to be someone's forever. And he was there. You'd gone out of town. I didn't plan it. My ears were ringing. You slept with my brother? Her voice cracked. It was a mistake, the biggest of my life. Then why cover it up with another man's name? Why drag Caleb into this and a fake kid? Why double down on a lie when you could have just told me? Because I knew you could hate Caleb. But if it was Eric, I'd destroy your family. I felt like my skin didn't fit anymore. You destroyed it anyway. She sobbed openly now, hands covering her face. I was going to tell you eventually. Yeah? Before or after the fifth postponed wedding? She didn't answer. I walked toward the door. She rushed up, grabbing my arm. Please, don't walk away like this. I shook her off. You buried me in lies and called it love. You could have told the truth. You had so many chances, but you liked the power. You liked holding the cards, controlling the story. Her voice broke. I still love you. I turned back just once. Then why'd you treat me like I was disposable? She fell silent. I left. This time there was no suitcase, no ceremony waiting. Just me, finally stepping off the battlefield I didn't even know I'd been dragged onto. 2 months later. Florence is quieter than I imagined. The air is warm in the mornings, crisp at night. I sip my espresso from a tiny cafe bench every day around 10 a.m. The same waiter nods at me now. I think he knows I'm hiding, but he's too polite to ask from what. Emma's called 3 times. I haven't picked up once. Eric hasn't called at all. Coward. I don't know if I'll ever go back. Not just to that city, but to who I was there. I believed in forever. In loyalty. In being someone's safe place. Now, I believe in silence. In healing slowly, honestly, and in walking away the first time someone asked to delay the wedding again. Not the 4th, not the 5th. Because some people aren't afraid of marriage, they're afraid of being known. And some love stories aren't tragedies, they're escapes. This was mine.